Now imagine you are going back 1400 years to the time of Asr al-Sada. You are in Makkah. You are about to enter a house, and he, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is inside. You are now about to step through the door. Your heart feels like it will stop. Your breathing changes. It feels like time is slowing down because you know, in a moment, you will see him. What does he look like? How is his face? How is his gaze? How is his smile? His voice? And the strangest thing, when you are near him, what kind of person do you become? Do the fears inside you become silent? Does your heart find peace, or does it tremble even more? In this video, we explored the physical and spiritual qualities of our Prophet through authentic hadiths. You are on Religious Story TV. We begin our Ramadan video series with this episode. To make sure you do not miss the next ones, subscribe to the channel now, like the video, and support us with your comments so we can reach more people. If you are ready, let's begin. Yes, when you hear the name of our Prophet, what comes to your mind? What kind of person do you imagine? Serious, distant, an unreachable leader? Did he look like some harsh, radical and aggressive Muslims whose numbers have sadly increased in this time? No, never like that. He was completely different from those who make you feel that way. Because if you had entered through that door and seen him, you would most likely have seen him smiling. One companion said, "I have never seen anyone who smiled more than Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam." This sentence breaks many assumptions. That serious, always dignified, always distant image we built in our minds since childhood suddenly changes. It means his face was not only beautiful but also warm. He had a gentle nature, and being gentle does not mean being weak. In that time there were wars against Islam. There were enemies. There were betrayals. Yet he continued with his gentle nature and did not change even a little in this matter. His heart did not become hard. This is something very great, because when people gain power, they usually become harsh. But he did not become harsh. There is an event. A stranger comes. He enters among the companions. He does not recognize Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He asks, "Who is the leader of this people?" Here we need to think. Imagine a leader. He has built a throne in the hearts of tens of thousands of people, but someone coming from outside cannot tell who he is. Why? Because he did not act like a king. He did not live in luxury like many Muslim leaders today. There were no guards around him. There was no special throne. There was no separate protocol. And he answers, "Sayyidul Kavmi Hadimuhum." The leader of a people is the one who serves them. This sentence is a revolution. It destroys the usual understanding of leadership. If you want to be a master, you must serve. Even before prophethood, he lived a humble life. He carried water, he carried loads, and people could not distinguish him from others. This is not only humility, this is a conscious choice. He established a state. He united the Arabian Peninsula. If he wanted, he could have been like the king of today's Arabia. He could have had servants. He could have lived in luxury. Many people change because of money. Many people change because of position. Many people change when they start receiving respect from society. But in him, not even the smallest change happened in this way. In fact, as his responsibilities increased, his back would bend more and he would start to stay hungry more often. At the beginning, we said he did not live like kings, but the lives of kings were lost in history. For many important people who lived in the past, many details of their lives are unknown. But his life, it is in front of us with the finest details. What we call the knowledge of Shama'il begins exactly here. It is the knowledge that describes a person's outer appearance, physical portrait, facial features, walk and gaze. The early Muslims did not see this matter as simple curiosity. They imagined him and worked for Rabita, meaning to truly connect with him. In their minds, they formed almost a spiritual portrait sketch, because the matter was not only to see, the matter was to build a connection. Now let us ask, can you truly connect with someone whose face you have never seen? Human psychology needs visuals, the heart needs imagination, and that is why the companions, while describing him, did not only describe a body, they described a light. Let us listen to the description of Hazreti Ali. He was of medium height, slightly taller than average, neither thin nor overweight. His bones were strong. A thin line of hair extended from his chest to his navel. His face was round, his beard was thick, his neck was bright. His skin was a mix of red and pink. He smelled more beautiful than musk. His eyes were large and black. His eyelashes were long and thick. When he wanted to look at something, he would turn with his whole body. Between his shoulder blades was the seal of prophethood. And this sentence: those who saw him suddenly would be shaken by his majesty. Those who knew him closely would become deeply attached with love. Here is the key word, mehabet. It means both a strong attraction and a trembling feeling of respect. What kind of balance is this? Can a person both make you love him and make you feel awe? Yes, he had this. Hind bin Ebu Hale says, his face shone like the full moon. You know the night of the full moon. The sky is clear, the light is soft but strong. It pierces through the darkness of the night. Anas bin Malik goes outside one night and looks at the full moon in the sky. The moon is smooth, bright, complete. Then he turns his head. He sees him in the distance. He looks at the moon. Then he looks at him. And these words come from his lips. Wallahi, he was more beautiful than the moon. This is not a romantic sentence. This is a testimony. Because Anas, when he was still a child, was given to his service. For 10 years he observed him like a camera, every walk, every look, every silence. The judgment he gave on that full moon night was not a moment of excitement. It was the result of 10 years. Is this an exaggeration? No. This is the testimony of a heart. Our mother Aisha loses her needle. It falls to the ground. She searches but cannot find it. He comes closer. With the light of his face, the needle becomes visible. This is not only a story of a miracle. To be near him is not to remain in darkness. But there is another side to this. The companions considered it disrespectful to stare at him for a long time. When he turned his face away, only then would they look. Amr bin As says, I sat next to him many times, but I cannot describe his face. Because of his awe, I could not look at him fully. Imagine this. There is a person. You are sitting next to him, but you cannot raise your eyes and look at him for long. Why? Because the respect inside you lowers your gaze. This is not ordinary charisma. This is a weight that touches the heart. Now pay attention. You know the beauty of Yusuf. Women cut their fingers with knives, but the scholars say if the awe in Yusuf had been this strong, that test would not have happened. There was beauty. But mehabet is something different. Mehabet is not only physical attraction, it also brings a deep spiritual love. At the same time, mehabet creates a strong desire to come closer. The more a person comes closer, the more distant they still feel. They never feel satisfied. This is not a beauty that can be explained by simple aesthetics. This carries a divine balance. And here, a question appears. Why so many details? Why was even the shape of his hair recorded? Because this religion is not an abstract belief. This religion is a living example in flesh and blood. If he had only been an idea, his life would have been lost. But he was the walking Quran. That is why even the speed of his walk was on the memories. Anas says he usually walked fast, like someone going down a slope. But when he walked from his house to the masjid, he would walk slowly. Why? The companions say, so that we could look at him. It may sound strange, But when the companions were next to him, they could not look at him because of respect. When he was walking at a distance, they could look. They were trying, even a little, to reduce their longing. And because he knew their adab, he gave them this opportunity. When he noticed them, he would slow down. Maybe he also benefited from this love. Now ask yourself a question. Can we truly imagine his face? Or are we only collecting information? Watching Sirah is easy. Listening to Shama'il is easy. But trying to resemble him even for one day is difficult. And this is where the tension begins. Because Shama'il is not only about beauty. Shama'il means responsibility. Throughout this series, first we will look at his face. Then we will approach his heart. Then we will witness his burden. And at the end, we will ask this. For what will we use this knowledge? To become like him? Or will we carry it on our backs like gold carried by pack animals and never use it? In his presence, voices would not rise. In his presence, eyes would not go beyond their limits. Because he was not only someone who was loved, he was also someone who was taken seriously. One day, our mother Aisha tells the story of Yusuf. She speaks about the palace of Zulayha, the surprise of the women, the cutting of fingers. Then she says, if they had seen my master, they would have pierced the knives into their chests. This sentence is not only a sentence of love, it is the result of a comparison. The beauty of Yusuf created admiration, but his beauty created not only admiration, but also deep respect. Is it possible to love someone and still feel shy before them? Yes. The companions loved him, but when their eyes met his, they would lower their gaze. This is not ordinary leadership. One day, a Bedouin comes, a man from the desert, not as refined in manners as the people of the city. The companions feel happy. Why? Because he will ask questions. Even asking a question in his presence required adab. The companions would not ask everything that came to their minds, because in his presence the heart would tremble. This trembling was not fear, it was the trembling of knowing someone's value. Now, another scene. The battlefield. Dust rises, the sound of swords, hearts beating fast. Hazreti Ali says, whenever we were afraid, we would take shelter behind him. Pay attention, the one who says this is Hazreti Ali, the name that comes to mind when courage is mentioned. Even he says that when they were afraid, they would stand behind him. This means Mehabet was not only in his face, it was also in his courage. It was also in his determination. There is another dimension of Mehabet. In his presence, no one would act loosely. But in his presence, no one would feel crushed either. What kind of balance is this? Imagine a leader. You feel comfortable near him, but still respectful. This is the weight of character. Now let us look at our own time. Near some leaders, people act too casually, or they cannot speak because of fear. But the state of the companions was between these two. There was love, there was respect, there were boundaries. Mehabet is not only physical. Whatever fills a person's heart reflects on their face. His heart was filled with revelation. That is why his face was nur. What we call nur is not electric light. It is the reflection of inner truth to the outside. Now I ask, what fills our hearts? Screens, calculations, worldly plans. If the heart is full, the face shines. If the heart is empty, the face fades. In this episode, we looked at his face. But we have not yet looked at his burden. We have not yet said Zemiluni. We have not yet seen the moment when the knees of the camel collapsed. There was beauty, but that beauty carried a weight. Imagine a scene, the streets of Medina, children are playing, dust, sand, laughter. He is walking on that road. In reality, a leader is passing by, but he does not just pass by the children, he stops. He gives attention to them. Sometimes he even carries a child on his shoulder, because a child is the future of a society. To win the heart of a child is to win the future. One day, his grandson climbs on his back. During Salah, while he is in sujud, He stays there longer. The companions become curious. After the prayer they ask. He says, "My grandson was on my back. I waited for him to get down." Think about this scene. A prophet in prayer. But he extends his sujud so that a child's heart will not be hurt. What kind of gentleness is this? What do we do? If a child makes noise, we become impatient. If a child makes a mistake, we become harsh. But he was patient, because he knew, if a child's heart is broken, that break is not easily repaired. Let us return to his home. How was he at home? His wives describe him. He would help with housework. He would repair his own shoes. He would sew his clothes. Think about it. Do we see such a scene in the home of a leader today? Usually it is the opposite. But he did not hesitate to serve, because in his understanding, leadership is service. Sayyidul Kavmi Hadimuhum. The leader of a people is the one who serves them. This word is not only for society, it is also for the home. One day he races with his wife. In one race he wins, in another his wife wins. Then he smiles and says, "This is her victory." This scene is very warm. A prophet, but also a gentle husband. This is a detail that increases humanity. Now our hearts soften a little, because we see him not only on a pulpit but also at home, not only in war but also in the street. This balance creates admiration. A man comes, he speaks in a harsh way, maybe rude. The companions become tense, but he remains calm. He answers with a smile, and the man changes. Sometimes a smile is more powerful than a sword. Now let us look at ourselves. How are we among people, harsh, distant, or warm? A person's religiosity is not measured only by worship. It is measured by how they treat people, because he lived among people. In this section, we felt warmth, a home scene, a street scene, a child's laughter, a spouse's smile. These details remove him from being an unreachable figure, and maybe that is why they bring him closer to our hearts. But there is another side. Behind all this warmth, there was depth, there was seriousness, there was dignity, there was measure. In the next part, we will enter that weight, the burden of revelation, how a human body was shaken, and the cry of "Cover me." Hira, silent, dark, far from the noise of the city. There is a man there, 40 years old. He chose loneliness, among the rocks, looking at the sky, disturbed by the system of the world, disturbed by idols, disturbed by injustice. But he is not yet a prophet. Revelation has not yet begun. Then, a moment. The sky comes close to the earth. Jibril comes, a powerful contact. Iqra, read, "I do not know how to read." Again, pressure, tightness, breath becoming short. Iqra. This is not an ordinary voice. This is a command descending upon the destiny of humanity. And at that moment, a body shakes, a heart trembles. A man is no longer the same man. The descent from the mountain begins. Fast steps, a racing heart, the door opens, and that sentence, "Zemiluni, Zemiluni, cover me, cover me." Think about this sentence slowly. The one who will become the strongest man in the world. After the first revelation, he is trembling. Why? Because revelation is not light. Today, we listen to revelation with beautiful voices. But when it first came, it came with great weight. Our mother Aisha explains, "The cold of Medina is strong. Homes are cold, breath turns into mist. When revelation came, sweat would drip from his forehead. In the cold, while trembling. What is this weight? The weight of words? No. The weight of responsibility. One day, while he was on his camel named Kaswa, revelation came. Those who witnessed it say, the knees of the camel began to shake. Then it collapsed. Even an animal could not carry it. So what about that body, that human, that heart? Another companion says, "We were sitting knee to knee. We understood that revelation was coming. My knees felt like they would break. If the knees of the one touching him felt like breaking, What was the state of the one receiving revelation? This is not a burden that an ordinary human can carry. That is why the saying, "My Lord trained me, and he trained me in the best way," is not empty words. There is a spiritual side to this training, and also a physical side, because revelation does not descend upon an ordinary body. That body had been prepared. Now I will ask a question. How do we see revelation? As a text, as a source of information, as a cultural element, or as a burden? When it first came down, it was heavy. Today it feels light. Why? Because we are not carrying it. We read it, we listen to it, we share it, but we do not live it. When the first revelation came, the world changed. But the change did not happen immediately. The first thing that changed was his heart, because revelation first descends to the heart, then to life. Do you know what our problem is today? Revelation descends to the ear, but not to the heart. The ear is light, the heart is heavy. If it descends to the heart, life changes. If it stays in the ear, it becomes only emotion. What started that night in Hira was not a text project, it was a life project, and that life would go to Badr, would go to Uhud, would go to Hudaybiyah, would go to the conquest of Makkah. Revelation was heavy, because behind it there was sacrifice. Now think, today we love those who recite revelation beautifully. But what about those who live it beautifully? If there were a competition, who should come first? The one who recites revelation best, or the one who lives revelation best? The answer is clear, but our preference is different. Because living is difficult, it requires sacrifice from sleep, it requires sacrifice from wealth, it requires sacrifice from comfort. There is no taking without giving. Even in this world system there is none. You pay money to buy bread. You pay money to buy water, to expect paradise in the hereafter without paying a price. What kind of calculation is this? The first revelation was heavy. Now it is light, because we have made it cheap. We take the verse we like. We choose the hadith that pleases us. We delay the part that is difficult. There is a hadith in Tirmizi. Whoever explains the Quran according to his own opinion, let him prepare his place in hell. Do you know what this means? Revelation is not a toy. Revelation is a burden, and a burden must be carried. Now let me hold a mirror to you. In the last month, what have you sacrificed for revelation? 1 hour of sleep, one habit, one expense, or did you only listen? Listening is easy. Carrying is difficult. The one who does not understand the weight of revelation cannot fully understand Shamail either, because behind that face there was a burden. Behind those eyes there was responsibility. That is why the companions who could not look at his face were also ready to give their lives behind him. Mehabet was not empty. It came from the weight of revelation. We are still at the beginning. We have not yet spoken about that spiritual rank. We have not yet ascended to Miraj. We have not yet stood at Sidratul Muntaha. In the next section, we will ask this: what was the spiritual personality behind this physical body? Imagine a scene, Badr, a dusty battlefield, 300 and something people, in front of them an army of 1,001 man, his hands raised to the sky. Ya Rab, if this group is destroyed, there will be no one left on earth to worship you. This is not an ordinary dua, this is the birth pain of an ummah. And at that moment, angels descend, Jibril, Mikael, coming as helpers. What kind of rank is this? Think of a man. In the market he negotiates while buying a horse. But in war, angels stand in line beside him. Can you hold these two scenes together in one mind? Mirage. Whoever thinks this was only a one-night event loses a lot. Mirage is an ascension up to Sidratul Muntaha, the place where Jibril stops. Beyond this point I cannot pass. Think about it, the angel who brought the Quran, the angel who taught prayer. He stops there, and he continues. What kind of rank is this, Kabe Kavsain, as close as two bows? You cannot solve this with the mind, it is felt with the heart. Now let us look at this from another angle. Sometimes we read Sirah, we learn about horse negotiations, we know which battle happened in which year. But we do not realize this. Today, the reason for our creation is his existence. This is a heavy sentence, but this is the truth. If he had not existed, we would not exist. A person who truly feels this sentence, would they struggle with empty doubts? No, because their center does not shift. There is a sentence. The one who does not understand his spiritual personality cannot be saved from doubts. This is a very strong sentence, but it is true. Only historical knowledge does not save. Only memorizing events does not save. It is necessary to understand the spiritual rank. Otherwise, one day a person may get stuck in unnecessary questions like, how can this be? Because they are looking only at the shell. Now pay attention, another scene. The market, a horse, a Bedouin, a disagreement. Huzaima gives testimony. This is an ordinary human scene, but the same person in Mirage passes beyond Sidratul Muntaha. It is difficult to hold these two states together, but this is the truth. Our problem is this. Either we look only at the sky or only at the ground. But he united both, human while negotiating in the market, holding a beyond human rank while ascending in Mirage. This is a two-sided balance, and we have lost this balance. Either we buried ourselves in the world, or we stayed only in imagination. Now ask yourself, do you truly think about his spiritual rank? Or do you just listen and move on? Whatever the heart sees as great, a person builds their life according to that. If his rank seems small in your eyes, the world becomes big. If his rank is big, the world becomes small. It is that simple. Spiritual personality means this. He was not only a guide, he was the son of two worlds, Dunya and Akira. Think of it like the trunk of a tree. Its root is in the ash. Its branches are on earth. If we stay attached only to the branches, we cannot see the root. Now the tension will slowly increase, because a question appears. The one who holds such a high rank, can he make a mistake? What is Zel? What is Ismet? What does Surah Abese tell us? In the next section we will enter these questions, and there we will see another face, his face in front of divine warning. Now we have come to a very sensitive door. On one side, there is greatness, there is mirage, there is Sidratul Muntaha, there is a rank where angels stand in rows. On the other side, there is a verse of warning. He frowned and turned away. How can the same mind carry these two scenes together? Here the matter of Ismet and Zel begins. First, let us draw a clear line. Prophets do not commit sins. This is the attribute of Ismet. It means divine protection, continuous guarding, continuous preservation. But this does not mean they stop being human. To be human means to have potential. But that potential is protected by a divine barrier. Here Zel enters. Zel means a slip, not a major sin. A small choice corrected by divine warning. In the Quran, this word is used for Hazreti Adam. His foot slipped. That was a Zel. Now let us go to Makkah, a room. Inside are the elite of Quraysh, Walid bin Mughire, Utbah bin Rabia, Umayyah bin Halaf, the strongest men of the city, the most influential names. They are sitting. In front of them is him. He is speaking. He is explaining the truth of faith to them. Maybe one of them will believe. Maybe the balance of Makkah will change. At that moment, someone enters through the door, a man whose eyes do not see, Abdullah bin Maktum. His heart is open. Ya Rasulallah, teach me from what Allah has taught you. He says it once. No answer. He says it a second time. No answer. Because at that moment he is speaking with the powerful leaders of Makkah. a strategic moment, maybe a turning point and a brief choice. He slightly turns his face. At that moment, revelation descends. Abese watawala. He frowned and turned away. Because the blind man came to him. Think about this verse. To a rank where angels stand in rows, a warning comes because of a slight turning of the face. What kind of sensitivity is this? Do you know what happened after that day? Whenever he saw Mektum, he would say, "Welcome, the one because of whom Allah warned me." He would say this gently to him. For him, divine warning was not shame. It was a blessing. Now another scene of Zell, his youth years, Makkah, a fair, the sound of drums, an entertainment gathering. He leaves his animals with a friend. "Let me go and see," he says. He walks, but suddenly sleep overcomes him. He falls where he is. When he wakes up, the fair is finished. Another day, a ceremony for the idol Buwain. He prepares. He is about to go. Again a heaviness. Again sleep. He cannot go. What is this? Ismet, protection. Even before prophethood, divine training. Another scene. The well of Zamzam is being repaired. He is carrying stones. His shoulder becomes hurt. His uncle Abba says, "Put your lower garment over your shoulder so it does not get hurt." Just as he is about to do it, he faints. He falls. His body is not allowed to be exposed. This too is protection. This too is training. Now let us look at Surah Fath, so that Allah may forgive for you what came before and what will come later of your sin. This verse makes many people think, was there not no sin? The word sin here refers to human potential, not an actual sin. The attribute of Ismet prevented it, but the possibility of being human exists. This verse speaks about that possibility. Now the matter becomes deeper. The one who holds such a high rank, why does he receive such delicate warnings? Because the measure is high. As rank rises, sensitivity increases. Things we would not even notice, there are corrected immediately. This is not weakness. This is being chosen. Now let us hold the mirror to ourselves. How many warnings do we receive? How many times are we corrected? How many times do we make mistakes? Yet most of the time, no verse descends, because the measure is different. But this should not make us comfortable. It should make us afraid. Because there, a small turning of the face, here may be equal to a big neglect. We say about our mistakes, we are human. But he, even in a Zell, was corrected immediately. To understand this difference is to understand responsibility. To know the difference between Zell and sin is to know the difference between rebellion and a slip. And many times, we turn slipping into a habit. In this section, we saw divine warning. Now we will move to another door. Ummi, a prophet who did not read or write, but a book that amazed humanity. What kind of balance is this? And more importantly, in this century, what will save us? Knowledge or purity? Makkah, the desert wind is strong. The society is small. Everyone knows each other, about 10,000 people. Those who can read and write, 16, maybe 17 people. This is the report mentioned by Belazuri. Now think. In this city there is a man. Until the age of 40, he never learned to read or write. Everyone knows this because the society is small. A secret cannot be hidden. And one day this man says, "I am the messenger of Allah." If he had been the greatest scholar of that time, what would they say? He was already educated. He learned from the Greeks or the Romans. He used to write things anyway. But they could not say this, because he was Ummi. Ikra. This is the first command. Read. And he says, "I do not know how to read." Now pay attention. There is not yet a written Quran in front of him. What reading is being asked? This means the matter is not only reading letters. There is another meaning of reading. To read the universe, to read life, to read yourself. But before everything, to read the command, Allah gives everything with its opposite. He produces honey through the sting of a bee. He produces silk through a small insect without hands. And the Quran that amazed humanity, he sent it through a prophet who could not read or write. Why? So that it would be clear, this is not from him. The door of doubt is closed. But the matter does not end here. Let us go to Hudaybiyah, the 6th year after Hijrah. 1,400 people set out with the intention of Umrah, but Makkah does not allow them. A negotiation table is set. On the other side is Suhail bin Amr, smart, a diplomat. Hazreti Ali is writing as the scribe. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Suhail objects, we do not know Rahman, do not write it. It is erased. This is the agreement between Muhammad Rasulullah and Suhail. Objection. If I accepted that you are the messenger of Allah, I would not be here. Write, Muhammad son of Abdullah. Hazreti Ali stops. By Allah, I will not erase it. Then that sentence comes. Show me, I will erase it. They point to it. With his blessed fingers, he erases it. What does this mean? This is proof of his Ummi state. He erases it with his own hand. Think of a leader. He allows his own title to be erased. For strategy, for peace, for patience. But now the matter goes to another place. What does Ummi mean? Natural purity, no prejudice, free from the pride of knowledge. In this century, what will save us? Knowledge or purity? In Makkah, there was a man. His real name was Amr bin Hisham. What did society call him? Abul Hakam, the father of wisdom. He could read and write. He was intelligent, a politician. But he said, he is not Abul Hakam, he is Abu Jahl. Why? Because there was knowledge, but there was no purity. The mind was full, the heart was closed. Walid bin Mughire, intelligent. He listens to the Quran. He is affected. Then he withdraws. He calculates. How can I oppose this? The Quran says, he thought and calculated. May he be destroyed. How he calculated. Here the idol of knowledge appears. Knowledge can lead a person to truth. But if knowledge joins with pride, it becomes a veil over truth. Now I ask you, how many scholars do we watch? How many different opinions do we listen to? But which one do we live? The mind may be full, but if there is no action, what increases is pride. This is a very hard sentence, but it is true. Knowledge increases. But if sacrifice does not increase, a person begins to sell himself. He gains respect through his knowledge. He gains status through his knowledge. But he does not carry the burden. Ummi is a revolution here, because Ummi means purity. Asiya believed in the palace of Firaun, but Abu Jahl stayed in darkness at the side of the messenger of Allah. The matter is not knowledge, the matter is submission. And here the call to action begins. If there is Iman, its proof is action. If there is sincerity, its proof is action. If there is Tawheed, its reflection in social life is action, not intention. Action. As Bediüzzaman Said Nursi said, in your actions there must be the pleasure of Allah. If there is no action, the claim of sincere intention is weak. We listen to Sirah lessons for hours, but what did the companions do? They took the knowledge, then they migrated to Habasha. They went to Badr, they climbed Uhud, they dug the trench in Azab. What do? We listen, we like, we share, but what do we sacrifice? Imagine a scene. The Battle of Qadisiyah. Mektum. Blind. He has permission not to join the battle, but he says, give me the flag. I cannot see the enemy and I cannot run away. What does this mean? This is the measure of Iman. We, on the other hand, are at the measure of excuses. I have a child. I have work. I am tired. Did the companions not have these things? Were they eating stones? No, but their priority was different. Now one question, will knowledge save you or purity? Knowledge is necessary, but without purity, knowledge becomes poison. Ummi means the cleanliness of the heart. It means no prejudice. It means knowing yourself. This is the real meaning of Iqra. Read yourself. The one who does not read himself cannot read his Lord. Until now, we have reached 6 sections. We saw his face, we saw his mehabet, we saw the weight of revelation, we saw his spiritual rank, we saw Zel and Ismet, we saw Ummi, but still something is missing. Fatana, sharp intelligence, leadership, strategy. And in the end, where all this knowledge should take us. In the next section, we will enter the secret of Fatana. A scene. The Kaaba is being rebuilt. Hajar al-Aswad will be placed back. The tribes are fighting. Blood is about to be spilled. Young Muhammad enters. They say, "This is Al-Amin. Let him decide." He brings a cloth. He places the stone on the cloth. Each tribe holds one corner. They lift it together. Then he places the stone in its place with his own hands. A crisis ends. No blood is spilled. What is this? Not just a good idea. This is leadership intelligence. Let us return to Hudaybiyah. The agreement is heavy. The conditions seem against the Muslims. The companions are sad, even shaken. But he signs it. Why? Because behind that agreement there is strategy. Peace will be established. The message will spread. What really happened? After Hudaybiyah, Islam spread quickly. 1 year later, Makkah was conquered. What the companions could not see that day, he saw. This is Fatana, another scene, the conquest of Makkah. He enters the city with 10,000 people. Power is in his hands. He has the chance to take revenge. But he says, "There is no blame upon you today." This is not only mercy. This is social engineering. If he had taken revenge, what would happen? New hatred, new enemies, but he forgave. He won the hearts. Fatana was not only in war, it was also in daily life. A companion comes. "Ya Rasulallah, I want to commit zina." The crowd is shocked, but he does not become angry. He asks, "Would you want this for your mother?" "No." "For your daughter?" "No." Others would not want it either. He builds a chain of reasoning. He convinces the heart. The man gives up. This is not only advice, this is psychology. Now think, one person carries the weight of revelation, ascends in mirage, establishes a state, and solves crises. This is not ordinary intelligence. This is Fatana. But pay attention. This intelligence did not produce pride. This intelligence was united with submission. Now let us look in the mirror. Our age is the age of information. Everyone speaks, everyone comments, everyone analyzes, but how many of us carry a burden? Fatana is not talking. Fatana is taking the right step at the right time, and sometimes the right step is stepping back, like in Hudaybiyah. Now here is a tension point. Knowledge increased, technology increased, but wisdom decreased. Why? Because there is knowledge, but there is no purity. There is intelligence, but there is no submission. In him, both were united. In us, they are separated. Without Fatana, Iman remains weak. Without Iman, Fatana becomes dangerous. Abu Jahl was intelligent, but he did not submit. Khalid bin Walid was intelligent, but he submitted. What was the difference between them? The heart. The question is this: what will we do? Where will all this knowledge go? In the next section, we will turn directly to ourselves. Will knowledge save us? Or will action save us? And what does it truly mean to follow the path of the companions? Think of a man. He explains how to make bread for hours, the amount of flour, the level of yeast, the temperature of the oven, but he has never made bread. Is this knowledge useful? No. Knowledge comes alive through action. What kind of generation were the companions? The Quran was revealed. They listened, but they did not only listen. They migrated to Habasha. They went to Badr. They were wounded in Uhud. They dug the trench in Ahzab. They were patient in Hudaybiyah. Knowledge turned into action. What do we do today? We listen, we like, we share, but there is no sacrifice. There is a very heavy sentence. The proof of Iman is action. This is not a slogan, it is a measure. If Iman is in the heart, it appears in behavior. If there is sincerity, it appears in choices. If there is Tawheed, it appears in life planning. Knowledge is the idol of this century. Diplomas, certificates, number of followers. But if there is no action, knowledge produces pride. When pride grows, the heart becomes dark. When the heart becomes dark, the light begins to fade. Now let us return to the scene. Qadisiyah. Mektum, blind. He has permission. He is not required to join the battle. But he says, "Give me the flag, I cannot run." This is not madness. This is the measure of Iman. We, on the other hand, have turned permission into obligation. We live in the age of excuses. I have a child. I have work. I have no time. I am tired. Did the companions not have these things? They did. But their priority was different. They planned for the hereafter, not for the world. We squeeze the hereafter into the world. Iman is not only prayer. Iman is not only fasting. Iman is a life system. In that system there is no riba. There is no oppression. There is no unjust gain. Fear is only from Allah. But we buy fear from the market. Trusting Allah feels difficult. The companions faced death. We cannot even face discomfort. The companions stayed hungry. We cannot give up comfort. These sentences are heavy, but they are real. This section should disturb us, because this series is not only to inform, it is to shake. If we listen to Shama'il and feel emotional, but our lives do not change, the problem is not lack of knowledge, it is lack of courage. Now we come to the final section. There is a moment of decision. Will we be those who collect knowledge, or those who walk? What does it truly mean to follow his path? Now we are here. Now there is only one question. What will we do? Think of a person. He listens about a face more beautiful than the full moon. He listens about the weight of revelation. He listens about mirage. He listens about Abasi. He listens about Hudaybiyah. He is moved. His eyes fill with tears. Then what happens? The phone screen turns on. Life continues as before. This is watching, not following. What does following mean? If you love Allah, then follow me. This is not a suggestion. It is a measure. To follow means to try to resemble. Not his walk, but his responsibility. Not his beard, but his loyalty. Not his clothing, but his trustworthiness. Our biggest problem is this. We admire, but we do not take sides. We love, but we do not carry the burden. We like, but we do not sacrifice. This is incomplete love. Now I will say a heavy sentence. If you truly love him, something in your life must change. One habit must fall. One expense must change direction. One fear must decrease. One courage must increase. Otherwise, love remains only emotion. How did the companions love? Abu Bakr gave his wealth. Umar walked with justice. Uthman opened his wealth. Ali put his life forward. Mektum walked to battle without sight. What did we give? This question is hard, but we cannot finish without asking it. This series was not only a knowledge series, it was a series of self-examination. We explained Shama'il, but Shama'il is a mirror. When you look at his face, you see yourself, and either you feel shame or you make a decision. Revelation was heavy, now it feels light. But to make it heavy again is in our hands. How? By living it, by taking one verse into your life, by taking one sunnah seriously, by leaving one haram, by defeating one fear. What was ummi? Purity, breaking the idol of knowledge, leaving prejudice, cleaning the heart. This is what will save us today. Because knowledge increased, but purity decreased. What was fatana? The right step at the right time. What is the right step today? To return to yourself, to leave excuses, to stop saying, I have no time, because there is time. There is only no priority. Did what we spoke about create a burden inside you, a discomfort, a decision, or was it only a beautiful story? The decision is yours. Watching is easy, walking is difficult, but those who walk leave traces. Which side are we on? You're on Religious Story TV. If you believe this video should reach more people, subscribe to the channel, like the video and support it with your comments. In this way you can help us reach dozens of our brothers and sisters, and we can share the reward together. May Allah be pleased with all of us. May He keep us busy, not with the rush of dunya, but with the concern of the mission. May He let us live not with the love of dunya, but with the love of the cause. Ameen.